Okay, we are live. Let me get live on Instagram and then we'll be all set. Go live. Hi, everybody. It's Ellen Lewis and
Morgan.
And Ellen.
So two Ellens. That's going to be hard to keep track of, but you got it.
Two Ellens and a Morgan.
Two Ellens and a Morgan. So good evening. Thank you for joining me. Tonight I want to talk about one of the things that tends to trip knitters up with their sweaters before they even get started. And that is choosing a size. And choosing a size is so incredibly confusing for all kinds of reasons. But choosing the right size is so important. And the main issue is about ease, okay? So simply put, ease is the size of the sweater minus the size of the body wearing it. Okay, so we have a bunch of sweaters here that I'm going to share with you, and the question people always ask when they put on a sample in the shop is, how much ease does this sweater have? Okay, have you ever asked that question?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I always feel like I have to knit that specific ease, even though it may not be the ease that I want.
Right. Okay, so ease is not something that a sweater has inherently. A sweater has inherently the size that it is, right? The size that that sweater is when it's finished, okay? Or when you're measuring it or when you're looking at it. So ease is the difference between the size of that sweater and the body of the person wearing it, as I said. So we're going to look at a variety of sweaters and show you positive and negative ease. Positive ease is when the sweater that's being worn is larger than the body of the person wearing it, okay? It's bigger than you are, okay? Negative ease means that the sweater is smaller than your body, okay? And it's kind of a scary thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So what is the issue about negative ease? What are your thoughts when you think about negative ease, positive ease, and all that?
I think negative ease means like that it's going to be too small. Like if I'm
like really
39
stretching
around
across,
here,
yeah.
like it's going to be like stretching across my breasts or across my tire belly, you know, it's going to be too small. And then it's going to stretch the stitches and not make my garment look pretty.
Okay. And as a result, when you choose a size, what happens? How do you go about choosing a size?
So I measure two ways. First, I measure around my bust, and then I measure my upper bust. And I'll look at, in the pattern, it'll say, I don't have one in front of me,
Right.
but it'll have different sizes, and it'll say 32 to 34, 36 to 38, 40 to 42. And I usually fall somewhere in that 40 to 42. So I would knit the 1, 2, 3, usually the fourth size.
Whichever size that is that has your full
Right.
bust measurement.
But I never pay attention to when it says to fit the measurement of the garment
Right.
at the bust is,
Okay.
which would put me back
Right.
back to.
Right, right. So one of the things that's super confusing is that there are several different ways that a sweater pattern is written regarding ease. So some designers are going to say to fit bust. Like Rowan puts that information in their pattern, to fit bust. And that means that the designer has decided how much ease the wearer is supposed to have, okay? They've taken that ease decision kind of out of your hands. Other kinds of designers will simply tell you what the finished bust measurement is, which gives you very little guidance about how much ease you might want to have in that garment. So that's also not that helpful in a way. I prefer when a designer will say to fit bust, or this is the finished bust measurement and it's intended to be worn with a certain amount of ease, X amount of inches of ease. So yeah, so So those are some of the things that are very confusing. And I want to talk a minute about what negative ease looks like. So before we came on camera, I took everybody's full bust measurement, and I measured all of the sweaters that were, lying around that we're going to be talking about. So my full bust is 36 inches, okay? And I measured the sweater that I have on, okay? What do you think? How much ease do you think Ellen already knows, so she can't answer.
Okay.
How much ease do you think I have in this sweater? And I'm going to turn around. So tell me in the chat what you think in terms of how much ease I have on this sweater.
I'm going to guess 2 inches
2 inches of positive ease?
of positive ease. Yes.
Okay, so you think
Which means that it would be measuring 40, right? If you're
if
36.
36, 2 inches of positive ease would be a 38.
38, sorry.
Right,
I
so-
can't do math.
Math is hard.
I've
Nobody
worked
likes
all
math.
day. I can't do math.
Nobody likes math.
No, it's all good. So the truth is that when I took this black sweater off and laid it down on the table and measured it, it measured 17 inches across. Let's do the math.
I just told you I can't do math.
Okay, 17 and 17 is 34.
34.
34.
So it's 2 inches of
Negative ease. Oh, I would not
I
have
know.
guessed that.
Right?
Right?
So it makes a difference. And I'm not
Okay.
saying, because I do think that negative ease can be taken to an extreme. And nobody wants that sweater that's stretched out or
Right.
looks skanky or
Right, too tight.
right. We're all
Looks too tight, too small, because then someone's going to say, oh, you knit that yourself. And I don't want them to say that. I'm going to be like,
Exactly.
oh, wow, you knit that? Really? Wow.
right.
That's what I want them to say.
Right. We all want that.
Yeah.
Right. We all want that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other sweaters that we have here. Okay?
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead? So let's talk about this one. So this is the Susan sweater. This is a sweater that we are going to be doing in Club Crazy for You in August. And we're going to be knitting this little sweater. And I want you to go put this on
Okay.
first. Okay? Go and
Okay.
put this on, right? So this sweater has, so we measured Ellen's full bust earlier, and it is 41 and a half. And this red sweater that she has on measures, what would you think
Do
this?
I get to guess again?
Yes, you can guess. Okay, so this,
So I'm guessing it's probably going to measure 48 inches.
48? Okay, it measures 44. That's
Oh.
not a bad guess. So she has 3 inches, 2.5 inches of positive ease here. Now it's a little confusing because Ellen is busty and all of that ease sort of ends up back here, right? But I think it looks great. And you love it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You're shy, aren't you? A cat got your tongue?
No. It's the Jenna top.
Yes, it is the Jenna top. It looks great. Okay, so come on over here.
Switch.
Okay.
Okay.
So Morgan is wearing the Susan right now, and it looks great on you. Do you like it?
Yes, I like the sleeve.
Okay.
I'd
Is-
probably make it longer,
Right.
just because I like things down to here.
But would you make this size?
Yes, because I like how it feels across here and across my back. It's not tight.
Right. Okay, so you would choose to make this. Now let's
Yes.
say again, Morgan's full bust is 43, and this sweater measures 39.
What? So 4 inches of negative ease?
Correct.
Okay.
And it looks great.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's sort of hard to wrap your head around it.
Correct. Because I kept thinking I was doing it correctly, and I'm clearly not.
It's really important that you try things on. You don't have to try on the sweater that you're making, but you have to try on something that is like the sweater that you're making.
Which is why I wore that flower shirt.
Yes.
Because I wear that flower shirt and the black t-shirt almost all the time when I'm in here.
And you love that.
Yes.
Okay.
And we measured it one time, and it was the last time I was in here.
Yes.
And it was negative E's.
Right. Right. So I just think that being afraid of negative E's is something that we need to get past. And I am specifically talking about pullovers. I mean, cardigans, I think, are a completely different animal. But for pullovers, especially if you're busty, I don't think you want to be afraid of the negative E's. Okay? So
Okay.
did you want to try this on? And we'll look at it, what it looks like with a little less negative E's. So again, Ellen has a bust of 41, and this is going to be a 39. So this is what it's going to look like with 2 inches of negative E's. Okay? Sideways. I think it looks great. How do you feel about it?
Like I said, I would just add a little bit of more in length, like
Sure.
Morgan.
Yeah. Well, you can.
But I like it because, so I tried it on yesterday, and I had a t-shirt bra on, which is just, not, I don't know, I guess not a flattering bra. And then I put a different bra on today, and it fits totally different. So the bra does matter.
It does.
It does.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks great on you. Right? And if we hadn't had this conversation, what size do you think you might have knit?
Bigger.
Bigger.
Because remember when I had it on yesterday, I'm like, I would do a bigger size.
Right. Okay, so before we came on, we were having a conversation about bust measurements. Do you remember that? And what did you tell me your bust was?
36.
Why did you tell me your bust was 36?
Because that's what my band is.
Right.
And that's the size I always make. Whatever my band size is the size sweater I make, which, like Morgan, don't pay attention to E's.
Right. Your bra band size is not the size of your full bust.
Right.
Right? So I'm a huge advocate for measuring your upper bust and making the size to fit that. Okay? That is a huge advancement. Even if you nothing else changes, if you just measure your bust up here, because this is going to give you a truer sense of your overall body size. Your bust line is such an outlier, right? Your bust line does not, it's not everywhere. I mean,
Right.
It doesn't reflect your overall body. It doesn't reflect how you have your weight distributed and all of those kinds of things. Now, you have broad shoulders,
Right.
but your upper bust still reflects that,
And Morgan and I believe you all have a 36 band, right? No, you're a 34.
I'm a 30, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
it doesn't
so-
matter. It doesn't matter.
But up here
Right.
is tends to be bigger. But if we were like an A or a B cup, this would look totally different.
Completely different.
And it would just kind of like hang down.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because this takes up length.
Right.
And so I think if I was a smaller cup size,
Right.
this would be longer.
It would. It absolutely
See,
would.
I'm learning.
You are so good. You are so good.
All right.
Absolutely.
Next sweater, Morgan.
Yes, absolutely. So I also have Rita, who is absolutely the most fabulous and prolific knitter that I have ever met. And she's been in the club for since we started, so 3 years. And I'm just going to bring her on, and we're going to have a little conversation about that whole, ease thing and kind of how that went. So let's see. I have this laptop, and it's very hard for me to. There we go. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Ellen and everyone.
How are you?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Hey, Barbara and Colleen. It's nice to see you guys too. Thank you. And Kathy. So good to see you. So let's just talk a little bit, Rita, about kind of your journey with ease and fit and all of those kinds of things.
Okay, well, when I first started knitting sweaters way back many, many years ago, I never even knew such a thing as ease existed. I just looked at a pattern and saw a size and thought, oh, no, that's not me. I better do the size that it says that, I don't even, I guess I must have measured my bust a little bit, but didn't know anything about ease at all. And so I gave up on knitting sweaters and decided to knit shawls because you don't have to worry about what size they are.
Yes. So tell everybody a little bit about, your shape, okay?
Okay, well,
You are
my upper bust is 44 and my actual bust is 50, almost 50, 49 and a half to be precise, but yeah, close to 50.
Right. So you have a very large bust.
Uh-huh.
And chances are, when you were first knitting those sweaters, you were making sweaters to fit your full bust, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And I remember when you first came in the shop, you were so cute. Um, you wanted Noro. And we had this conversation about sweaters and knitting sweaters, and you said you'd given up on them because they were too big.
Uh-huh.
And
Correct.
we kind of went a little round and round on that in terms of like what size you should be knitting, because like all strong, smart women, you know, we're a little stubborn.
And you said, oh, you should be knitting a 46. I'm saying, no way, that would never fit me.
And you did what?
And so I took a leap of faith in you, and I did a couple of tank top type things and found that negative ease did work. And I did like the look, and I did get compliments about how it looked on me. So then I thought, oh, well, I guess that's not so bad after all.
It's so good. Are you wearing one of those sweaters that you knit, Rita?
I am wearing a current one, which is the Rocket Tee, which I absolutely adore. I don't know whether you can see it there. There it is. And it is, I did the size, what did I do? I did the size 50, and it's got 2 inches of positive ease. This is a positive ease sweater.
Right.
Which I'm very happy with. But I mean, I used to make sweaters that probably had 10 inches of positive ease because I was big and I wanted to hide everything. I didn't want anybody to see what my figure was. But now I've learned that, you know, that's not the way to make yourself look better.
So I never really thought about it from like that perspective of, you know, that you knit it bigger because you just wanted to hide things.
Oh, yes, yeah. You ask a
think,
lot of people that are big and they want to wear big floppy things so as you can't see what's underneath.
Right. And I think also there's always this fear that, you know, if it's too small, you won't be able to get in it, but if it's too big, you can always wear it.
True, very true.
Right?
Yeah.
But trusting the numbers, I think, is really important.
Very important, and takes a while to get your head around when you've worked 40 years of doing one thing and then to have to change. You know, I had to definitely have trust in the system.
Yeah, and it does definitely take time to sort of figure that out, and to come to a place where you know how you like things to fit. So
True.
The way that you were talking this morning about how you like one type of sweater to fit versus other kinds of sweaters. Do you want to share that at all?
Yeah. I mean, the tank tops are definitely better with negative ease, and yet other tops, this is more like a t-shirt and winter sweaters, perhaps better with this 1 or 2 of positive ease. Now, right. I don't think, you know, some sweaters will say that they should have 6 or 8 inches of positive ease. I will never do a sweater that has 6 or 8 inches of positive ease because it doesn't work for me. It just is too big and doesn't look good on me, you know.
Right. And you've learned that sort of across the sweaters that you've knit.
Well, I've learned that through being a member of Conservation for You.
Well, thank you. I guess my point is that understanding ease, I think people mostly understand positive ease. They understand that it's bigger, but the concept of negative ease, you know, there are amounts. You know, there are amounts of negative ease. A little negative ease can be a good thing, and nobody wants a sweater that looks like it was like you were poured into it.
It's going to change the next one. Make a size smaller.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I also think, as you have said, that cardigans are different, right? Cardigans are completely different. Have you figured out what you like in a cardigan?
No, I haven't, because I haven't knit a lot of cardigans, but I do want to do a few more. And you do have to be careful that you have enough ease, because to come across the front, if you don't put enough ease in, you can't, if you want it to do up across the front. And being a large busted person, you don't want it to sit out here, you want it to come across. So
Right, you don't want it gapping if you're trying to.
True.
To close it.
But I haven't
Right.
had enough experience with that. But I believe in Club Crazy Few, we might address that issue.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Didn't you say there's a cardigan coming up sometime soon?
We are going to do that. Yeah, we are definitely going to do a cardigan. And I think the cardigan fit is just, it's not challenging, but I think the thing that's challenging that we have to work through is that different sweater constructions require different amounts of ease. Like you probably wouldn't want negative ease in a drop shouldered sweater. They fit differently, right? But you don't necessarily need as much ease as the designer is recommending for the model who has a bust of 30.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, and the other thing about a cardigan is that you're usually going to have something underneath it too, so you have to allow for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did want to open this up. If anybody watching had a question, if you're here live and you wanted to ask a question or about a particular sweater or something, or make a comment, I would be happy to hear that. Or if you guys had anything that you wanted to kind of ask about with a specific sweater, or if you're watching afterwards and you put a question in the comments, I will absolutely get back to you on that and answer the question. So let's see. Hey, Nancy, how are you? So did anybody have a question about sweater fit and those kinds of things that they wanted to ask? Okay, what's going on here?
okay.
All right. Okay, Morgan's got
I
a thing.
brought stuff for questions.
Okay.
So I love this yarn, and I like that this is a V-neck. And I really struggled with this. This is the Lantana, I can't pronounce it. And it was meant to be measured around your waist, right? So there's going to be some positive ease because it's supposed to be tight around the waist, and then it just kind of has a little bit of ease. So I measured and knit the size, started knitting the size medium, and it just looked too small. So everybody kept saying, just keep going, just keep going. Well, I ripped it out and I did a large.
Put it on. Let's see.
And so you can see it does not look like how it's supposed to look.
I thought they had long sleeves.
No.
Okay.
So I'm
Back up a little.
backing up. Does that help?
Yeah, I think that does. Can you guys see?
So
Okay.
you can see how it's not tight. It's not horrible. I still wear it, but it was a case again where I didn't trust what you guys were telling me and what the club was telling me.
And you
So-
just, because you were afraid because it looked too small.
Yeah.
Are you going to stand up there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hold on to you. Okay.
Do you see how, it doesn't look horrible?
Did you want this to be tight at your hip?
Yeah, the design was supposed to be around here,
Uh-huh.
and there was a little bit of positive ease in through here, but it was supposed to be tight around here.
So a little bit blousy.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is, it's still blousy, it's just a different.
It definitely looks cute on you. It definitely doesn't feel too big in the bust, but it's not what you expected.
It's not what I expected.
Uh-huh.
So to fix that, would she do decreases like shaping?
Did you knit this top down?
No, I knit this bottom up,
Yeah.
which was another thing. When you're knitting, I struggle with when I got here, it said do, I think 2 inches or 2.5 inches of ribbing, this 2x2 ribbing. And then it said, in this pattern stitch, knit to 14 or 15 inches, whatever it was, from here to here.
Right?
Well, I didn't know how to measure that
Why?
because I've heard you hold it up and you measure it. I've heard you lay it flat and you measure it. And I was getting different measurements
Right.
depending on how I was holding it. And then even then, I thought it was going to be too small So I freaked out and knit more.
Right. So I think that I want you to get down from there. You're scaring me, girlfriend.
I've got 4 kids. If you're out there, Palmer, Sawyer, Maxine, Matthew, hi. Oh yeah, sorry, the camera. Sorry, kids.
So cute. Okay, I think when you're measuring the length, you definitely want to hold it up, especially
Okay.
if it's a fabric like this, which is a silk and linen, which is going to stretch. It doesn't have the same recovery that a wool might. And the bigger the sweater, the more length you're going to get stretched. Okay, so that's important.
Okay.
But it's also important if you've got, negative ease and you're going to be wearing it with negative ease to accommodate the negative ease when you're making your length measurement,
Okay.
right?
You could do a little tuck or put like some cute little thing in to just kind of,
Yes.
if you're not happy with it like this, just kind
There's
of.
all
I
kinds of
am
things you
happy
could do.
with it.
I think it looks
I do
beautiful.
like this sweater. I just want to say I do like it. I don't mind that it turned out like this.
It's really
It
cute
just,
on you.
It was not what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to bring it and show people it has ease, and I don't usually like ease, and it was supposed to be measured around the hips. So that's another thing in the pattern when you're talking about fit and ease, to make sure that if it says to go around the hip, just trust
Right.
what they guide you to.
I think too, we talk about negative ease around the bust all the time. But it's also, you found this too, didn't you, Rita? A little negative ease at the hip, probably even scarier than the idea of negative ease at the bust, because you think, oh my
Yes.
gosh, it's gonna, it's gonna pull. But it keeps your sweater in place.
Exactly.
having
Yes,
a
I
little-
did find that. Yeah.
Say again?
I did find that. I knit a few sweaters and they were doing the same as Morgan, was sort of hanging off my hips, and I'm thinking that's not what I wanted. But yeah, you need negative ease around your hips as well. Yeah.
Right. And all of these things, I mean, it's just hard to wrap your head around, but it is so important. So,
So I wanted to, oh, sorry, I'm not even in here. I wanted to go over this one too, because you said my full bust was what?
okay, your full bust is 43.
Right. So on this, it says 2 fit chest, and I did,
So it's a 40, 42, and then
So-
44, 46.
and so I went down thinking I was going to get negative ease. And so I started knitting this. Do you want me to get the one that I started
Sure.
knitting?
But you just tell me about when
Oh.
you started knitting it. So you started knitting it and,
Oh, I started knitting it, and it was measuring exactly how, like my row gauge, because I did my whole gauge for 3 different needle sizes, picked the needle size that got me the gauge, and then I started knitting it. And when I started knitting it, I'm like, wow, this is looking really big. Like, it's coming far around me. And that's not what I was anticipating. And so I brought it in, and Jenny measured it, and it was measuring 48 inches exactly,
which is the size that you were knitting.
which is the size that I was knitting.
right.
But I was thinking in my head that I was knitting it with negative ease because I'm a 43, and I was going with that first that says to fit chest 40 to 42, instead of looking on the second row that says actual chest measurement of garment.
Right. Right. You have to look at both.
Yeah, I didn't look at both.
It's okay.
I'm like a case of what not to do.
No, sweetie. You're
Keep knitting.
you're fine. It's all good. So, hey, everybody, let's see. Hey, Nancy, nice to see you. All right, Betty, you said there's a pattern that you have knitted. Did you have a question on that you wanted to talk about? Was there something? Nancy, did you have a question? I am so delighted that you guys joined us, and I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Oh, I can. I've already started increasing for the sleeves.
Okay, so this is going to
So
be
this-
very large.
Yeah, this is going to be very large. I'll turn to the side so you can see.
Right.
It's like wrapping around almost to my back.
Yeah. So we are going to make you a smaller back,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And that's a thing that you can absolutely do. you know?
And I only noticed that I was knitting the wrong size because Jenny in the shop knit it and had finished it. So I tried on hers, and hers fit perfectly,
Exactly the way you wanted it.
exactly the way I thought it was going to go.
Cute.
And it's 2 sizes smaller than what I was knitting.
Maybe you could punch Ginny and give it to you.
I'm gonna keep. I love that green color, so I'm gonna keep going on that.
Right. But going
this-
forward, if you were going to choose a size
Mm-hmm.
for a sweater, you might go, you don't have to have negative ease. I mean, I am not saying everything has to have negative ease. I'm simply saying that you want to make an informed decision
Right.
about how much ease based on your body measurement, the size of things that you own, and your preferences for fit. You know, there are all kinds of different preferences for fit. And I think it's so misleading when you have, again, this model with a bust of 30 and,
Yeah.
and you see all these designers, they're so cute and they're so little and they've got this oversized sweater on and it looks really cute, but it doesn't always translate.
Right. It doesn't. It doesn't translate.
Right. So the amount of ease, in my humble, shouldn't be set. Like, I don't think that you
Right.
should have as much ease for the small, but that's not the way designers design. They have to design it to this standard. You know, they have body size sort of standards. They have to do that because you can't design
Right.
everything for everyone.
Right. You
And-
can't do individual designs.
Right, and that's why we have to know our measurements, our preferences, and
Right.
what to be looking for.
Right.
Right,
Right. Because if I were knitting a winter sweater, sometimes in my winter sweaters, I like a little bit more positive ease because I wear a t-shirt under them because I've started getting hot flashes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm taking things off.
And sometimes you want that look. Sometimes that's a style, you know, where you want that sort of oversized feel.
Yes.
You know, I find that for me, I like things either that fit really close or things that are huge and blousy.
Yeah.
Like, and no in between.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like-
I'm only laughing because that's very similar to how I am.
right. And I think a lot of us are. I think a
So now
lot
I
of
have
us.
a question about that
Okay.
because the pattern, it's a V-neck in the
Come on over here because no one can hear you because you have to speak into the microphone. You come over here. Yep.
All right, so in the pattern for that sweater, it's a V-neck in the back. So that doesn't change the ease at all because that's, I'm assuming, is 2 backs put together?
It's actually 2 fronts. I mean, it's a reversible sweater. You know, it's got a V-neck on one
Yeah,
side
it's the
and a,
backs.
Because
yeah.
there's no V on that. There's
Right.
no
Right.
deep V like that.
Ginny didn't want a deep V.
And I don't want a deep V. So I'm just doing 2 backs.
Right, so that's 2 backs.
Correct.
Okay, that's, yeah, so that doesn't change.
It's going to change a little bit in the fit because, you know, that V is going to open up. But I think that with that deep V, we would have to do something like we did to your
Right,
sweater today,
right.
right?
And put something so it doesn't fall off the shoulders.
Right, because I think it can be very hard to wear something like that.
Right.
And remember that the pattern picture is a moment in time. Think about it like those models with their wind and the hair,
Right.
and you take the picture to the salon where she's got her hair all with the wind blowing. You're like, I want that. And it's like, well,
And it
buy
just
yourself.
doesn't happen.
I know, it's just so unfair.
Walk around with a fan.
Right. Exactly.
My students would love it. What are you doing? Just having good,
Just having good hair. Or, you know, they'll have that sweater on somebody and they'll have it over here, they'll have it pinned on the side. So it looks like it has waist shaping. And then you look at the schematic and you're like, okay.
Where's the waist shaping?
Where is the waist shaping, right? Okay, let's see. Barbara says, this has been so informative. I haven't knit a sweater in years, but would never have thought of any of this before. Oh, well, thank you so much, Barbara. I'm really, really glad. You know, I am on a mission to help women knit sweaters that fit perfectly and look great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my goal in life, right? And I think part of it is I've seen so many knitters be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
You spend so much, I mean, hey, I own a yarn store. Yarn's expensive. I get it. And the time that you spend, and then the disappointment is just horrible.
Rita's the walking testament to that.
Rita is amazing, right? Right? You're amazing, Rita. How many sweaters have you knit, Rita, since you joined the club?
50.
50. Oh my gosh.
I told you she's
Oh
amazing.
my gosh.
Rita is
50.
the bomb.
5-0.
I've done like 4.
And that's like in 3
4
years,
for my
right?
kids.
Yeah,
had
like 3 or
50
4
in
years.
3 years, Rita. You're a beast.
You've
Plus
done more
other
than you
stuff.
think you have, though. I mean, you don't think you've done that many, and then you count them and you think, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I'd done so many. You know, and that's winter sweaters and T-shirts and, you know, different, you know, and a couple of cardigans and, you know, all the different things in between. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all sweaters. We're not talking hats and mitts and stuff. Those are
Exactly.
in addition.
These are actually sweaters, yeah.
And the pillows and the blankets.
Rita is
gosh.
like such a rock star, I tell you. And you know, there's a picture of Rita wearing her tank. Have you seen that one where she's looking up?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, you look like a fashion model in that.
Little Miss Model.
It's so amazing.
Oh, stop it.
No. Are you getting embarrassed? Rita's
I
very
am. You
easily
know I
embarrassed.
do.
We have a good time embarrassing Rita and Flaw Talks. Oh my goodness, yes. So yes, it does save on therapy, which is much more expensive than yarn.
Uh-huh.
So, oh my gosh, we've gone over, but I really want to thank you for watching. I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I just want to encourage you to look for. Next week, we're going to be talking about some of the confusion that people have when they are looking at sweater patterns and some of the places where people get caught up. And all of these things that I'm sharing with you, just to kind of give you an idea of the sorts of things that we talk about, that I teach, that you learn while you are knitting sweaters in Club Crazy for You. And I think it's been, I mean,
Learned so much.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So-
I wouldn't have been able to knit any of these sweaters without Club Crazy for You.
Oh,
To
thank
be
you.
honest, I'm just being honest.
And
I
it's
wouldn't
sort
have
of,
figured it out.
well, you might have, but it would be like me, trial and error. So, and Rita is one of those people that came, and she was already a great knitter, but she hadn't knit a sweater before that fit.
Really?
She knit a sweater, but not one that fit, not
Oh,
one that fit
oh,
the way
okay,
she liked
okay.
it. And Ellen, you were a brand new knitter.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Was Moss Cardigan your first sweater too?
Yes.
Okay, so we
You were a
both.
brand new knitter,
Yeah.
brand new sweater knitter too.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So the idea is that you can go from I've never knit a sweater to I can make any pattern fit me perfectly, right? That's the brand promise. You know, that's what we are looking to provide every single member, right? And we have classes throughout. So anyway, so if you are interested, there is a link in the description. You can sign up for the wait list, and it is opening next month. And I think it's going to be really great, and we would love to have you join.
So worth it. So worth it.
I think so. Plus, it's really nice people, and you make great friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so super fun. Yeah, so tell me in the comments or in the chat or later on what your issues are, what you have learned as you've knit sweaters, and you know what your thoughts. So thank you guys so much, and Rita, thank you especially for taking the time to be here and you know knit with
It was
us
fun.
and chat
It was
us.
fun. It was
So-
fun. No, you
Bye,
embarrassed me.
Rita.
Bye,
Bye.
Rita. Bye, everybody.
Colleen has a comment. She
Oh.
says, I would never have finished my project. So that's a thing. You get to finish your projects. We
Yes.
help you finish your
Yes.
project. So that's yay. So Betty has a question about, do I have any openings? We will have openings. So I am only going to have it open once a year. And that is why I'm making such a big push, because I don't want people who want to do this to have to wait a whole year. So yes, Betty, next month it will be available and you will know. I'm going to do something else next week and then something the following week, and then I will open it for, you know, for you to join, and then we'll have our welcome party and our measurement mania, and we'll go right into the Susan sweater in August. And yeah,
I'm excited about that one.
Yes.
And you mean that it's opening up in July, right?
No, we're opening it in, yes.
The Club
Yes,
Crazy for
yes,
You will be
yes.
open in July. Okay.
July.
I'm like, I keep thinking it's July.
It's July.
Not. It's June.
No,
So
it's
I
just
just
Today
wanted-
is June.
if
Next
anyone
week's
else is
July.
like,
Next
"Hey."
week is July. Yeah, it's going to be open after the following week's podcast. Anyway, if you're on the wait list, I'm going to send you an email early. So if you join the wait list, you'll get an early email, and that's kind of a cool thing. So, yay. All right, thank you guys so much. Again, I just really have enjoyed sharing this with you. It's been fun to be with you
Yes,
guys.
yes.
Yay, thank you for coming. Oh, my
of course.
girls, I appreciate it. And Rita, mwah, you're a rock star, girlfriend. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.